You remember that thing I showed you last night, I
Yeah.
think it was?
Yeah, I saw it.
What do we do with that information? Because it doesn't look like a craft, even from an alien species, from another world. Like, what?
Okay, my mind goes straight to here.
So yeah, can you say that again, please?
Let's all work on disclosure together. So let's analyze the information, share our perspectives without ego, without feeling like it belongs to this person or that person. Let's go on this journey together.
The following program is presented for general information, education and entertainment purposes only and is not intended to be advice of any kind. The content, views, thoughts and opinions expressed in this program are those of the individuals involved. The use of information on this program is at the user's own discretion.
Alrighty, hello there, Stuart. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Mike. Are we getting more disclosure these days? It seems like it.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. What's it like in Australia right now with we've already talked about the movie Steven Spielberg put out, Disclosure Day, a little bit, but since then, and as of what was it, like yesterday or something, the US government put out its fourth tranche of files. So what's it like in Australia with all this disclosure stuff happening?
Well, it's less so in our media than I'm noticing it in your media. And I'm sorry to tell you this, Mike, but all cards on the table here. We love you Americans, but we're all kind of suspicious of you at the same time. So I'm not, but in the aggregate, we're always like, oh, that's Trump again, or that's the US talking up some nonsense again. So I wish it wasn't like that, but that kind of trust layer is gone. So now when things come out, we're take it with a pinch of salt. I'm watching with interest, but that's the pulse I'm feeling over here.
Okay, that's good to know, and I don't hold anything against you. Hey, let's call a spade a spade. America is very good and well known for good at blowing things out of proportion, making them all hypey and sensational and such. So yeah, that's what we do here, and we should expect nothing less than what you just said.
Sorry, Mike, I didn't even mean to start the show on a downer, but yeah, that's the true answer.
No, we're here to get to the truth, right? So
it's full disclosure.
Exactly. So welcome one and all, wherever and whenever you may be. We are Universal Disclosure. You are part of us just by tuning in. And my name is Mike. I'm an active UFO Field Investigator in Southern California with my friend and co-host,
Rev Stu in Melbourne, Australia.
And we are here again, chatting it up, right? I kind of feel now is a good point to, as I said to you in the text last night, let's call the market, as it were, right? Because I kind of see stuff happening, and I kind of have an idea where I think stuff is going to be going, and I don't know. I felt like maybe let's have a little conversation about that.
Well, the things I'm interested in particularly are these ministers or pastors who are coming forward and saying, we've been briefed by insiders close to the president about what's coming. And then the sources seem to be getting closer and closer to the president that I'm hearing about some imminent disclosure. So I'm very interested, Mike, to hear what your thoughts are on all this.
So I've not really done a whole lot of research on that aspect of it, but I've heard about what you just said. And there's a guy, well, I don't know, he doesn't really apply to what you just said, but his name is Dr. Phil in America here. He's a pretty well-known TV personality. He's like a psychologist of sorts, right? And he's got this multi-decade show where he helps people out with general problems and such. And he recently comes out with, I've been invited by the White House to look at this information before it came out, and I'm very upset. And he didn't seem very upset at all. It sounded like he was reading a script, quite frankly. But anyway, the fact that he's getting involved tells me that at least in America, it's full on now. It's time to penetrate that critical mass, if you will. I'm pretty confident that the White House has probably reached out to various folks across different platforms, as it were. We'll call them influencers, right? So, what better way to disseminate the narrative information that you want to than to do it that way?
Wow. Is that a way to test the waters too? Like just put a bit of information out there, get some of this reaction happening so it's not catastrophic disclosure, maybe just gently introduce it. I do know who Dr. Phil is because he has been on our TV. He's even known down here down under, Mike.
Oh wow, cool. I didn't know that. I mean, so that's cool. Very cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, I kind of with this whole religious thing. I mean, that's kind of what we started our conversation with, and it's sort of finally getting into the mainstream, if you will. Right? Here's what I see: the various beliefs, like the different religions. I see these, let's call them spiritual leaders, right? They're trying to jam into their belief system something that wasn't there before. They don't know what to do with it, and they're just making stuff up, quite frankly, to try to fit that square peg into a round hole. That's what I see happening. I think that's going to happen a lot more. I think there's going to be more and more preacher men, if you will, out there saying stuff like in talking about our topic, but they might not be very educated about it at all. And that's sort of concerning to me. So I just wanted to float that out there and see what's your reaction to that. I guess we'll call that my prophecy, if you will.
Okay, I like that, Mike. Now, it's going to be a bit sensitive, of course, but everything here is sensitive. Those aspects have always been in spirituality and Christianity. So that's why on the show, I was keen to have Reverend David William Parry on because he's been fully aware of that for many years, and so have I. So an interesting thing is part of this disclosure has to do with the disclosure of the truth of some of these traditions that have been left out. I'm talking about, well, all of them really, because the message gets changed for political reasons along the way. I'm trying to skirt around the issue a little bit there, but there are aspects to Christianity that haven't been presented to the fore. But I'm surprised by how many people during all this disclosure period are exploring those aspects. I'm talking about esotericism, mysticism, Gnosticism, lost gospels, Nag Hammadi, Knights Templar. Oh, just so many things, Mike. I could go on for the next minute on all the different aspects that aren't known by many mainstream Christians.
Well, feel free to go on as long as you want about it, because
If you can get your hands on all the texts like the Nag Hammadi, Dead Sea Scrolls, read all those texts, then you start to get a picture of what's happening. So here's an interesting thing that actually does relate to disclosure, Mike. What you need to do is release what you've been told, how you've been told to interpret the information. So with UFOs or UAPs, we've been told don't believe what you're saying. That's a weather balloon. That's just a light in the sky. That they weren't great aliens that you interacted with. See, the same things happened in Christianity too. So most people in mainstream Christianity are being told this is how you interpret the book. So if you read something different and go to the church, as I did young in life, I said, "What? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't correlate with what you're telling me." And those questions were not welcomed and made people feel very uncomfortable. So I had to go on my own journey in that way. So that's why I've got a little bit of a head start on this, and I don't say that in an arrogant way. It's just been a topic I've been interested in, just like with us with disclosure. We've got a little bit of a head start, although we still have many questions, but we're open to asking those questions. I think that's really paramount.
yeah, and we're open to. I'm open to being wrong. Okay, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've said that a couple times, but let me say it loud and clear. I'm open to being wrong, even though I'm pretty convinced or can be confidently compelling in my beliefs based on my own research and investigations and such. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't know for sure, and I never will probably until the dying day, right, as everybody else says. But I think a lot of people, and I've noticed this in investigations, most people are not open to being wrong. It's a big deal for a lot of people.
Oh, wow. That's a big one. Right into psychology there too. I think the only way you can really grow now, okay, here's another place that you'll be able to understand perfectly. As musicians, when we start learning, we're not very good, you know? I mean, no one's amazing out of the gate, but you get encouragement.
I was.
Fantastic,
Just
mate.
kidding.
You get some encouragement. Oh, that's great. You know, keep going with that, Mike. And even though it's not very good at the start, you get some encouragement. And if that just continues at that level, you'll think you're amazing no matter how bad you are. But there's a journey when you get to a mediocre level. There's a long time you don't hear anything. I found, and then when you start actually getting good, you start incurring some jealousy. There's a whole calibration thing that happens along the way. So as musicians, we've had to go on that journey because we can't start at a mediocre level or entry level and think that we're amazing. But there are people out there that do that. So that's an ego issue. Same thing. Like sometimes a prime example is where you'd record yourself. You'd listen back to a live performance and you'd think, wow, I was so amazing. And then you listen back and watch yourself. You're like, I'm never going to perform in
The
public
horror,
again.
you know? Yeah, that was the worst thing ever. Like the first time I ever listened to myself on recording, and not so much with piano, but with like vocals and such. I was like, oh, really? That's right.
Yeah, well, people go through, they feel tormented when they hear their own speaking voice. So, there's that calibration. You have to be open to the sort of feedback, and that kind of feedback you can't ignore because I'm not going to I'm not going to argue with a recording, you know.
Yeah, right. Interesting though, because like when I first started, I know it's a little tangent, but when I first started playing piano at a ridiculously young age, my family was like, "Oh, you're so good," and I always thought, even as a kid, like you're just saying that because like I'm your son or your uncle, your nephew or whatever. So I just thought that they were all lying to me.
I love that, Mike. Yeah,
And then I kept going, and then like nobody would say anything, and I was like, okay, now you don't even care, so I must really
right.
suck.
That's right. That's what I was talking about. There's a long stretch when you're mediocre, you hear nothing, and then when you finally get quite good, people are like, you're either at that point you either hear, "No, you're awful," out of jealous people's mouths, or you hear, "You want to join my band? Do you want to come and do this performance?" So that's part of this whole ego journey with music. And, I've taken that forward into my life because the sermons and the messages that I give get recorded. So I watch them later and I think, oh, wow, that was at this show. How about this show, Mike? Sometimes I watch myself on this show and I think, oh, wow, I could have done that a lot better. But you kind of have to let that go, don't you? And all this is related to ego. So I am open to changing my mind based on the facts, even if it's hard. Doesn't mean I'm going to immediately do it. So for a little while, I might be upset or angry that I've been lied to or that I've been so stupid and so foolish to believe things. And then I'll eventually come to terms with it. But I will make that journey and I will arrive at that destination.
That's awesome. And hopefully everybody out there listening can, if they're not in that space, can find themselves in that space. Because when you go down the UFO rabbit hole, folks, I see this all over the place. There's a majority of people, they've already made up their mind of whatever it is, and they're only interested in information that, it's the confirmation bias, I think they call it, right? They only want to confirm what they already believe. They reject anything that is against that, or if they don't understand it, they're not. So like, one of my old bosses, Scott Roberts, ladies and gentlemen, put your egos in your pockets. That's how he would start out every single meeting with the team. He's like, check that at the door. Pick it up on the way out if you want to. But like, that was a great phrase.
I get some challenging discussions as a minister, as you can imagine. People say things to me like, "You seem like an intelligent person. How can you believe in God and believe all this sort of thing that you talk about?" And even I can feel a little bit offended for a microsecond, but then I have to pause and respond. And I'll say something like I'm saying now. I've been on the journey, and the further and deeper I go on it, the more I feel convinced. But it's a different perspective I've got to when I started. That would be true of this subject too, Mike. So even since we've started this show, my perspective has shifted. We've spoken to some amazing guests. It's an absolute honor to do this show, I've said to you, Mike, because we get to speak to some of these witnesses firsthand. I get to ask the questions I want to ask. So this is my own journey. And this is part of my journey into disclosure and my spiritual development, doing this show with you. So I'm very glad. So I guess I'm trying to reiterate is I'm open to this, and I hope other people are as well.
I mean, I think I said this before too. It's until you personally have that experience or that sighting that is something, that's when it's really going to change for you. You can, the standard public out there can look at all the evidence until they're blue in the face, and nothing's going to change or move that needle personally for you until you have your own thing happen. And that's when you go down into the never-ending rabbit hole. And then, each rabbit hole has rabbit holes, and it's just a never-ending, labyrinth of thing, or just easy to get lost in.
Well, that's basically the definition of Gnosticism: direct experiential knowing and learning. I've got a real heart for these people who have these near-death experiences, and they come back and they want to tell us a message about the afterlife. And there's a similar thing with these experiences. So, I feel for them because they want to tell us something. Maybe they've even been asked to share with us. Now, very interesting. Is the government currently in that situation? Look, we want to tell you about this. We have to tell you about this. Are they thinking this way too? Like, people aren't going to believe it. So, all right, I'll give you an example. Say we're in the government, right? I would say to you, Mike, why even release this? Because number one, we're going to look foolish. A number of people aren't going to trust us as a government if we're releasing things like this because they'll think it's nonsense. People aren't ready for it. People don't want it. I imagine all these discussions have gone on in the background, would you say?
Oh, absolutely. For the last 80 years, those discussions have been going on in the background, without question.
Right.
But I mean, does anybody trust the government anymore? Anyway, and I'm not just talking about the American government. When we talk to Reverend David, the UK, they're not doing too well over there, and they're not speaking too highly, it seems, of their government. So, I mean, it almost seems as if governments of the world are imploding, and all at the same time, that this UFO disclosure is happening, which I can't help but wonder if that is somehow connected. And I'll just leave it at that.
That's very interesting because there are people doubt out the motives of our government too, with very regularly. So it's not just America. I'm glad you mentioned that, Mike, because I felt a little bad about what I said at the start about the American government because us Australians see you Americans as basically our cousins, so we've got a close relationship, but I think we can be pretty direct as Australians too, as you've probably seen. So, and it's not meant in any angry way. Like we're kind of chill. There's a nice animated, entertaining side to Americans too. Like I don't mean that in a put down sort of way. Like you're making some amazing entertainment over there. So you're used to presenting things in an entertaining, engaging way. But I don't know. I don't feel that's happening with Disclosure. There's no real fanfare, is there? It's just being released on the war.gov site, pretty much. And what happens is the White House say, here's some more, here's another lot of information for you.
Yeah, so what happens, yes, there's no fanfare. And, that's how it should be, actually. I've gone to the site a couple times. Like as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong. As far as I'm aware, there isn't an official schedule. It's always seems to be on a Friday, and it's every 2, maybe 3 weeks or whatever. They don't necessarily have. Originally, I thought I heard every 2 weeks they're gonna put something out, but then there was 3 weeks, and it's like, well, hey, are you all modeling after us? Because we don't always put every 2 weeks. So, but anyway, you gotta go to the site to see if there's something there. But then when something happens, that's when the X, formerly Twitter, blows up, and all the podcasters, as it were. They start talking about. So there's one actual image from a video that is making its rounds. I don't know what to make about it, honestly. It's interesting, but it's like a blob. You remember that thing I showed you last night? I think it was.
Yeah, I saw it.
What do we do with that information? Because it doesn't look like a craft, even from an alien species, from another world. Like what?
Okay, my mind goes straight to here. Is the objective here to release something that's not seen before, to open our minds to think, well, you're not necessarily just looking for sources. You're not necessarily looking for cigar shape. So the jellyfish came up, right? That was a wild one for me, Mike. I'd never seen that before. So there are new models being created all the time coming out of the UFO factory there.
Well, potentially, yeah. I mean, I don't know for certain, man. I really don't. From the moment I saw the jellyfish video that I believe you're referring to, I was skeptical and questions like, I've heard from some people who seem to kind of know that it was potentially just like a bouquet of balloons. I don't know. I'm just, whatever. But let's just pretend and say it's not. Okay, for a second. What is that? And what does one do with this information? Like, I'm all on board. Like, a flying saucer, great. A chevron, great. A triangle, great. Maybe a cigar, a rectangle, whatever. Shapes. But when you have this amorphous blob, what the F? That's all I gotta say.
Well, see, the reason I mentioned that, trying to expand our consciousness on that, is because what I would have expected is a few videos of flying saucers and cigar shape, the ones we're used to. See what I mean? But Mike, why are they like, you know what? Let's release some really odd shaped thing, and they can have that. Why?
Well, that's the other thing too. We always, thus far, and I don't see this changing ever, we're missing all of the information that we need. We don't know where, when, how high up. Are we in black and white? Are we in IR? Are we in some other weird mode of optics? What are the weather conditions? Like, we don't have any information at all other than a short video of some ridiculous looking thing. Great. Thank you so much. Make of that what you will. I mean, it almost seems like a slap in the face. I mean...
All right. I'm going to think laterally here. So if I was in the government or the intelligence community, which I'm not.
Are you sure? Because I don't know.
if I was seeing a bunch of things I couldn't explain, I would think this is some sort of psychological warfare from one of our enemies. And then if I got really stuck, I might think, you know what? Just throw a picture out there, because someone out there might say, oh, I know exactly what that is. Some specialist, some person that we've never spoken to, and it might give us a little bit of a clue. So, you know how I think the CIA put out some sort of code one time, and if you could crack it, then you could contact them and possibly work for them. You know the sort of thing I'm talking about? They put these puzzles out there. So I'm thinking along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only assuming that it's true, but it sounds like it probably would be. They depicted that in what was that movie called with the atomic bomb? Oppenheimer.
I was in that, right?
Yeah, they were. It was like almost like every week there was crossword puzzles and there was different things, and after like a certain number of weeks, people got the answer, they mailed it in, and like, boom, you're recruited. So that seems like something they definitely would have done back then. And what was it? Oh, the other guy we just talked to, Guy Morris, talked about something exactly similar to that, where he saw a one line or something in a scientific magazine, and he figured it all out, and then the FBI shows up at his store. So
right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That does for sure happen, not just in Hollywood.
Well, if someone comes forward and says, I know exactly what that thing is that you've released there, that would help them to find out who's aware of such things. That might be actually, I'm sorry to say this, that might be actually dangerous for someone to reveal, because then you'll probably be interrogated like, okay, when did you see this? Why do you know what this is? What connection do you have for this? What, is it a threat? That could be a stressful situation. So I think they might be wise to keep their mouths shut about that.
Yeah, very true. Very true. But yeah, I don't know what to make of it. It's the most interesting thus far. I'll say that. But aside from that, it's like I don't know.
Well, I'm still grateful for it, Mike. It's not necessarily the disclosure I wanted, but it's the disclosure we are getting.
Yes, you're right. No, I just heard Citizen D echo in my head. There's a mystery there, but it's not the mystery you want.
Fantastic.
And for those who don't know, he's the crop circle maker. So check out those conversations if you haven't. We have a couple conversations with him talking all about the crop circles, and that was great.
All right. Well, thank you for today, Mike. I do have a question for you, though.
Mm-hmm.
When these documents are released, do you have time to read through them all? Will you read through them all? What's your stance on that?
I will never have time to read through them all because they are extensive.
Right.
When the first batch came out, and I think we did potentially a mini talk about that too, I threw a bunch of them or potentially all of the PDFs into Grok or whatever. It was the first time I ever used it, actually, and I found it to be pretty darn interesting and useful. But I had that distill for me the general themes and things of the documents, and it did a wonderful job of it, because one document could be like 60 or 100 pages, and there's multiple documents. So at this point there's got to be many thousands and thousands of pages to read, and I don't have that kind of time.
I see. Okay, well, I like that there's a community out there, and you referenced X of people who are going through this information. And we've recently had some guests on who definitely have time to go through information and very interested in it. So I'm really grateful for those people that distill the information down for us as well. So let us all work together on disclosure together, please.
Wow. Yes, Stuart. Thank you so much. That was one of the topics of conversation at like a little mini in-person meeting that I went to today, and that was about about the ego and the infighting everywhere and everything, and it's just so yeah. Can you say that again, please?
Let's all work on disclosure together. So let's analyze the information, share our perspectives without ego, without feeling like it belongs to this person or that person. Let's go on this journey together. That's my perspective.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. I love it, and I back that statement 100%. Can we do it? Imagine this. Imagine if planet Earth was one big global university experiment, and disclosure is the final examination. Are you going to pass? And
wow,
to cheat on the test,
yes,
passing is going to depend on, can you get along with other people?
Oh, wow, Mike. I reckon you summed that up very well. That's so good.
Wow. I just came up with that off the top of my head, man. So I don't know if that was like divine intervention or whatnot, but wow, I can't believe I just said that. Actually, that was pretty damn good.
It was. That's a beautiful place to end it, Mike. Thank you, as usual. Much love to you out there, as always. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. We're honoured to have you along with us, and we're here to share this exploration together. So just please stay in love and, just see if we can work together and reduce the conflict if that's possible. Just sending my love out to you, Mike, and our audience right now.
Thank you, Stuart. Peace and love to all.